Hey my beautiful people, welcome back to my channel, Supreme Medium Diviner. Today we're going to dive in the topic of exorcism. I don't talk about it much, but I think that it's time to talk about it in light of a lot of things that's going on with a lot of ritual talk, especially with the entertainment industry. With this video, I'm going to let you know if exorcism is real or not. Is it necessary or not? The basis of my information is coming from the real life story, The Exorcism of Anneliese Michel. And there was a movie that was loosely based off of her story, The Exorcism of Emily Rose. But before we go ahead and get started, if you have not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that bell to get notified. Hit the like button. Please share this video. Please comment. Also, there are a lot of scammers out there pretending to be me. I do not have WhatsApp. I do not DM you. If you need anything from me, you're going to have to go to my website to book my services. That's the only way that you can get services from me. Okay? All right. So I thought that exorcism was a good topic because there have been so many movies on exorcism, and I'm just going to be honest with you, I hate watching movies based off of exorcism. Not the fact that it's so much scary, it's the fact that it's like, to me, it just comes across as a bunch of nonsense that's like unwarranted. Like, nobody asked for this. Like, why are you doing this? But then there's some people who are definitely afraid of exorcisms and they believe in it. So what is an exorcism? An exorcism is something that is done by a Catholic priest. This is in the Catholic Church, and this is this ritual, this ceremony is used to expel anything that is evil from a person that they feel is being possessed. It can be from a person, it can be from a place, it can be from an object that you're, expelling this evilness from. The evilness, under the definition of exorcism, is saying it can be a demon, aka daemon, or a evil spirit. Okay, so the exorcism of Anneliese Michel is very interesting, and it's also a very sad case. So you got to understand, she's from Germany, and she comes from a time frame where there was not that much knowledge. She was born September 21st, 1952. She died July 1st, 1976. If you watch the movie Emily Rose, the priest and the parents, the priest that performed the exorcism and the parents, they were charged with negligence by homicide, or however you say, the homicide negligence. Basically, the cause of her death was malnutrition. And Anneliese Michel, she suffered from seizures. And when she suffered from seizures, they diagnosed her with epileptic psychosis. So, of course, they put her on medication for her seizures. She started having seizures when she was 16, but for some reason, according to the sources, the medication did not work whatsoever. Being that the medication did not work, she started to go into a depression. So just imagine, just think of it on a low level. Just imagine that you're sick, or anytime that you get sick, we always have this feeling of anxiety. We get this feeling of depression because we hate to be sick. So just imagine being sick for a long time and taking medication and it doesn't work. The natural response is high anxiety, and of course, it can turn into depression, right? So that's a natural response, and she's a teenager. A teenager is not supposed to be sick. So these emotions, these feelings that she's having is natural. Another thing that you have to understand, she came from a very strict religious Catholic background, okay? So they understand suffering, but a teenager doesn't comprehend that too well. So to her, why am I not being protected? I'm heavy in religion. Why is Jesus not helping me? Why is God not helping me? All these things are going through her mind, right? She, in 1970, had her third seizure. And by this time, they had admitted her to a mental institution, to a psychiatric hospital, because she started saying that she was seeing like devil faces. She couldn't go around Christ. She couldn't go around a cross. She couldn't drink holy water. She was saying that she stood on church grounds that it felt like fire under her feet. Okay. The parents had reached out to the Catholic Church for an exorcism because they felt like she was possessed at this point, and they turned her down. I think about 3 times they had to ask before they finally got it approved and the exorcism could be done. And they approved the exorcism a year before she died. And she had 67 exorcism sessions within a year in a 10-month frame. Between 1975 and 1976, she was doing 1 to 2 sessions a week for 4 hours. They quoted her saying that the reason she stopped eating is because she needed to suffer. And the seizures did not stop. The parents also stopped her from getting medical attention because at this time they were convinced that she was possessed. The cause of death is malnutrition. That was her cause of death. During the trial, there were a lot of physicians who said that she was not possessed. It was strictly a mental issue. But here's my thing. All these medications, and you mean to tell me nothing worked? Now, I don't know if I need to dig a little bit deeper, but it doesn't even show that she had lots of seizures as somebody who would be considered epileptic. Sometimes seizures can be caused from high fever and other environmental factors. Okay? So was she really epileptic? If she's not epileptic, the medicine's not going to help. We haven't gotten down to the source of the problem, right? So there's a reason the medicines didn't work, because maybe there was nothing wrong. But by this time, with everything that she had been through, of course she's depressed. You would think so. The parents were charged and convicted. The priest was charged and convicted. They only did probation and had to pay fines. The mother never recanted how she felt. She said that her daughter was possessed. The priest also feels that she was possessed as well. So my question is, was Anneliese Michel really possessed? Was the exorcism necessary? Did they make things worse for her? I have your answers. This is going to be a 3-part series because I have more questions for Anneliese Michel. So I decided to channel Anneliese Michel to find out what was really going on with her during this time. So I'm going to go ahead and tell you, exorcisms to me are not real in the form that they're done. I don't believe in doing it that way. Having a priest and, sitting around doing these long sessions, I just don't believe in doing it that way. The reason why I don't believe in doing it that way, because there's another way, and I do this. This is part of my work. People hire me to remove evil entities, spirits from them, and I do this. When you have to remove something evil from someone, you have to get on their level. That means you have to go where this spirit is. And this is going to be in the spiritual realm, spirit to spirit. So when I do my work, I'm not standing in front of somebody. I go to sleep and allow my spirit to go to this person to see who is there. And if there's a threat, I'm removing it. This is part of my work. This is what I do. I do this with the living. Let me make that clear. This is with living people. Okay? So I not only channel the dead, I work with the living, and this is what I do. So this is why, my opinion, why I do not believe exorcisms performed in that fashion are effective. And from what we can see, it's proven not to be. You got to get on the spirit's level. Furthermore, you got to know who you're dealing with, who you're working with. I tell people all the time when people come to me, they say I got this. Did they tell you who it is? Can they see who it is? No, they just tell me. I said, well, then we don't know if you got something on you. If I need to be able to see who it is. How can a priest stand in front of you and they don't know who they always asking for names? Let me tell you something. The people that I work with can throw out some names. Anneliese Michel threw out some names. I'm going to tell you one of them that I know she was telling the truth about. So let's go ahead and get into it, what I saw with her. Anneliese Michel was being tormented by male spirits. Men. I counted 5 of them when I went to her. She showed me 5 different men that were bothering her, nagging her constantly. They were younger men. One was old. The one that was old was one that she feared the most. The one that she ran from. The other ones, she would allow them to have conversation, but she would get aggravated. Her spirit was very aggravated. But the older man, this is the one who wanted more from her. He would literally chase her spirit. Chase her spirit, literally. Okay? And it's not the fact that they had her in turmoil. It's the fact that they would not leave from her. Something like you would call a spiritual husband. But imagine having 5 at one time. So if you're not familiar with a spiritual husband can be very territorial. I've worked with some people to where it's been light to where they just can't be in a relationship. And I've worked with some people to where like every relationship that they get in, something bad happens. They attack them. So it can go from very minimal possession or attachment to very bad, evil attachment. In the court documents, they say that she gave names. She gave the name of Lucifer. She gave the name of Cain, Judas, Iscariot, Adolf Hitler, and Nero. The one that I can tell you for sure was a correct name was Adolf Hitler. How do I know this? There's something about men's spirits that I've removed, male spirits, that they have a tie with Adolf Hitler. I just had one 2 months ago that I removed from someone. And I kept asking the person, I always do consultations before I go in and see what I see on the surface. And I kept saying, who's the police in your family? I keep seeing Adolf Hitler. They was like, I said, do you like Adolf Hitler? They were like, no, I don't. No. And this was a white male that I was working with. But they were just like, no, not at all. But it just kept coming up. I worked with other people where that Adolf Hitler spirit just kept coming up. Come to find out, the person that was attached to my client ever since he was a little boy was a police officer. And he assaulted women a lot. Very Adolf Hitler-ish. Right? So Adolf Hitler, she's telling the truth about. One of those men had his spirit or maybe a descendant from Adolf Hitler. So in my next channeling, I'm going to ask specific questions about these men and does she know why they were there. I just went to her on just to see what she was going to show me, and this is what she showed me. So it wasn't a daemon. It wasn't an entity. It was somebody who has lived before, that is a spirit. And in the spiritual realm, they did attach to Anneliese Michel. And that's who was bothering her. Had the priest went on her level, had the priest went to the spiritual realm, they would have seen this clearly, but they don't want to do that work. Because guess what? It causes you to really work. You can't just be throwing some water and saying some words. You got to fight. When I tell you I drag out, fight these spirits, sometimes they'll walk away just because I say so. But sometimes they won't. They want to fight me, and I go to war. I go to war to remove these spirits. That's why I do not play about my gift. That's why when I tell you guys something, I've done it. So that's why I have a strong opinion about exorcism, because I do this. She could have been saved. The medication wasn't working because she didn't have epilepsy. Do you know how many people who have spirits attached to them, they hear voices? They want to give somebody something. I've been getting a slew of clients that are being diagnosed with schizophrenia, that are telling me they have them on medication, and the medication is not helping them. They said they felt more alive without being on the medication. They struggle every day to survive. And all it is that they have these ancestors, these spirits that are just talking. And they haven't figured out a way to level it out, to balance it out. Everybody is not schizophrenic, but schizophrenia is just a bunch of ancestor spirits, just very strong. I'm not saying that some people don't need medication, but just because you hear voices doesn't mean you're ill. I talk to the dead. I hear them all the time. Of course she's going to hear voices. These men were stuck to her like glue. Of course she's going to be depressed. She doesn't know what's wrong with her. Nobody's helping her. And she's a teenager? Are you serious? So no. This should not have been done to her. They should, even now, they should know better. But people that say they are called are not called. Or if they are, they're lazy. So the exorcism of Anneliese Michel was wrong. Now, where is she now? I met her on the astral. She has reincarnated. She is an older woman who owns a gas station. I talked to her on the astral. Meaning that in the present time, she's here. She's here. She's been here for a long time. Not too long after she died, she was reincarnated. She's still living. I gave her my information. She may come my way. She asked me what did I do, and I told her. And I gave her my information, and she walked back into her store. She looks the same, just older. Now, when I talk to her again, I'm going to ask her, what do these men want? And I'm going to also ask her, what does she have to say about what was done to her? I do want to dive deeper into exorcism so people can have a better understanding. But I promise you, I'm going to stand firm. I'm not coming from research. I'm coming from doing the work. So I'm going to stand firm on what I say about exorcisms. If you can't get on their level, I don't want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. Because if you can't get on their level, you don't know the first thing that's going on with that person's spirit. And if you can't get on that level, why are you even talking to people? You can't assist them in any kind of way. You're not willing to. So, please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Like, share, comment, hit the bell to be notified. Please, if you have anything that you want to discuss when it comes to this topic, exorcism, please put it in the comments. Your wish is my command. We're going to go over it. And I hope this gave you a better understanding of what exorcism is and what it looks like. So until next time, bye.